Evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Hope we are all good. I'm on Instagram up here and YouTube down here. Excuse me. So if I'm not looking at you, I apologise. But I hope we are all doing good. 1 minute late. Apologies. 1 minute late. How's everyone feeling? Big week ahead. Fresh trim, Keen. Yeah. Took a bit of length off, mate. But yeah, how is everyone? Big week ahead. Cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely class. Let me just see if I can get odds checker up as well so we can get some live odds going. Here we go. We're live on YouTube as well. Evening, guys. Thanks for joining me on here. Hope you're all good. We will look through all 28 races of the Cheltenham Festival. Hopefully pick out some nice winners. That is the plan, as always. There's going to be some stronger fancies and some looser fancies, but as long as we back some winners, let me know who is going to Prestbury Park next week. I will see you there. Okay, nice. We've got the split screen up. Who's your cert for the festival? Listen, we're getting into it. You'll be knackered by then tonight. The Racing Life podcast. Thank you for having me on. If you guys aren't following the Racing Life podcast yet, go for it. And we will go from there. The Irish are going to mop up, says Daz. Probably, mate. JJ Emerson's going for the Gold Cup day. Matthew, we'll get into that. We're going to go through, what's the word, periodically? We'll go through each race. All right. Okay, let's crack into it. So we start things off with the Supreme Novices Hurdle, one of my favourite races of the festival, actually. I can't remember. I think the last time I backed the winner here was Appreciate It. I had Mystical Power last year. Came agonisingly close. Jumped the last. I thought we were home and hosed. But yeah, let's look at the market. Let's look at the race. Previous winners of the race, we had Slade Steel, Marine Nationale for Mikey O'Sullivan, Constitution Hill, Appreciate It, Shishkin, and Classical Dream. 24 of the last 28 winners had won last time out. But for me, this whole race, it's boring. There's going to be a few like this. The whole race revolves around Kopek the boards. Now, for me, it was a poor Supreme Novices Hurdle. I actually backed Romeo Coolio at the beginning of the season. I thought his second to Jasmine DeVoe in the champion bumper could have been top class. Now, obviously, Jasmine DeVoe hasn't really stepped forward. Romeo Coolio has won a Grade 1. He won it by 9 lengths. But I went into the DRF thinking this is going to be a poor novice hurdle. A poor Supreme, sorry. And then Kopek the board went out and did his business at the Dublin Racing Festival. Now, he did everything wrong, really. He was keen. He was buzzy. He sort of pulled himself to the front. He over-raced. He had a loose horse, went out, and he still absolutely bolted in. He won on the bridle. He ran to an RPR of 153, which is £4 clear of anything else in this race. The only worry I have is his keenness. He can be keen, as we saw at the DRF. And I always think the Supreme Novices Hurdle, there's normally always a false start. And a false start, I hope, wouldn't, but it could send him over the edge. I doubt he's ever contested a false start before. It's boring, but I just think Kopek the boards, what he's done is definitely better than anything else in this race. I couldn't have Salvatore Mundi. He did a lot wrong last time out as well. He looked beat coming around the home bend, plugged on. He ran to an RPR 138, and you think Kopek the boards ran to an RPR 153. I could be having Salvador Mundi. I think Romeo Coolio will finish second. I think Work Ahead is a horse, a lot of potential for Henry de Bromhead. Was third to Jasmine DeVoe on the first start. Then won nicely at Leopardstown on Boxing Day. His finishing speed was actually quite closely related to Romeo Coolio, and his ground was a little bit slower. So I think Work Ahead could definitely be involved in second. Won at a massive price is a horse called Carbao. Those of you that follow me on Instagram would have seen when I was at DRF, we had a drunk guy who owned Carbao come over and said he's going to win the Supreme. He actually, he ran to an RPR 139 last time out, which is only 2 behind Work Ahead, and he's a massive price. What price is he at the moment? I think he's 20 to 1. But for me, it's simple. Romeo Coolio will win the Supreme. Even if he's keen, I think Paul will just let him stride out clear. That might be the best way to settle him. Get a nice bit of daylight if he's not settling behind the pace, but gets the favourite, gets the festival off to a favourites start with Kopek de Boards in the Supreme Novices hurdle. There'll be lots of muggy doubles going on to the Arkle. We've got a good Arkle here. Marjora versus Loidesud, Django Bay, Only by Night, and Touch Me Not. Now I think we can go through these one by one, and let's start things off with Touch Me Not. Touch Me Not has been second to Loidesud and second to Marjora. I can't see any reason why Touch Me Not is going to reverse the form. He can't win. Only by Night, an improving young mare. I think she should have gone for the mare's race over this, the mare's chase. I don't think she's nowhere near the class to win an Arkle. Only by Night, gone. There's a lot of love for Django Bay. I just did a preview with James Bowen. Said he schooled him the other day, and he schooled lovely. But for me, I don't think he had any reason not to win last time out. I'm not actually sure the drop back to 2 miles will suit him. James said it shouldn't be an issue, but for me, I think he'd want. I think he'd be more competitive in a 3-mile chase rather than 2-mile chase. Not for me. Loidesud, definitely the main danger to Marjora here. He's 4 from 4 this season. He's been running to an RPR 155, which is very good, but again, £9 short of Marjora in the Irish Arkle. There's a little bit of collateral form here. Loidesud beat Touch Me Not, but it was a little bit close. He beat him 3 3/4 lengths that day. But I think if Loidesud would have missed the last, who knows what would have happened. Marjora went out and beat him 9 lengths convincingly in the Irish Arkle. So you've got that bit of collateral form. Now, when you look at the timings from the last festival, Marjora's triumph was about 7 or 8 seconds quicker than Loidesud's County. For me, out of all the shorties, Marjora is the one that takes all the beating for me. He's the most bomb-proof. If he keeps upright on all 4 hooves, Marjora will definitely win the Arkle. He's been to the Cheltenham Festival. He's been there. He's done it. Progressive horse. He's only had 2 runs, but he's getting better each time. His jumping isn't the best. His jumping is a little bit sketchy, but he's still quicker than me. He's not losing a lot of time, and he didn't ever look like he was falling for me. If he keeps upright, he will buck the trends of a 5-year-old in this, and Marjora will win the Arkle. Let me see what people are saying. His jumping worries me a little bit. Loidesud is the better jumper. Yeah, I will agree with you on that one. Loidesud is the better jumper, but I just don't think his engine is anywhere near as big as Marjora, and Marjora's just got the scope to beat him, basically. Ryan Dean says the bookies would take a battering on the Tuesday. 100%. I think the day to make the money is the Tuesday. But a race which the handicapper might get a lot of money back in is the Ultima. Let me just see if I can get this a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, the Ultima, it's a tricky race, this. Only one of the last 25 winners carried top weight. 10 of the last 11 winners, they were 11 to 1 or shorter. So you don't want to be looking for a massive prize here. But only 4 of the last 45 favourites have won. Let me see if I can get a live update on the prices. Okay, so the one that I like here, it's a very competitive race. Let's just look at a few, actually, before I go into my fancy. You've got Henry's Friend for Ben Pauling. Had Twig in second last year. Won by 6 lengths off top weight last time out on the 28th of December. Hasn't been since, probably protecting his mark. But he didn't do much beforehand, and there's some collateral form where he comes up a little bit short. He was behind Broadway Boy and Victorino, and the Changer Man was just beaten by Victorino. So I'd have Henry's Friend just a little bit below the standard needed to win this. Broadway Boy has seen a lot of market support into 15 to 2, but for me, he is too high in the handicaps. He does have a good record round Cheltenham. he's dangerous. But for me, I'm looking elsewhere. And then you've got Krebely, who's an interesting one here, who was second at the festival off a mark of 140 last year. He comes here running off 138. Now, it could be a big plot job by John Joe O'Neill, but for me, he's been off the boil this year, and I'd much rather be backing a horse with a bit of like form and confidence behind them rather than coming on the back of some poor runs. Catate Dory is a really interesting horse here. Had a fantastic season so far. Form figures at the first, second, and first, and ran to an RPR 145 when he beat Highland in the Ladbrokes Trophy only a couple of weeks ago. He's been raised £26 since the start of the season, so he's massively improved. But his mark is up £12 for his win last time out, and I never really like a horse which has put in a massive performance. When was it? It must have only been 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, the 22nd of Feb. So you're looking at 3 weeks probably maximum. As soon as I saw him win that race, I thought it's interesting. They're obviously not going to the festival because they've blown his mark. He ran off a rating of 125 that day. Now runs off 137. Goes for Dylan Johnson Claimer on board to help with that. But again, I just had that in the back of my mind, which leaves me with the Changing Man. Been very consistent all year. He's had form figures of second, and first, and he's only gone up £10 since the beginning of the season. Who knows what happened last time out when Jinko Blue fell? Who knows what happened? But the race fell apart. But he won it on the bridle. He's only gone up £2 for that win. But in terms of like a confidence booster, that's done the job 100%. He'll definitely stay, and he's ran some big races without winning, which I think has done his handicap mark the world of good. He was second to Victorino in the Howden Silver Cup. He kicked clear, and he was just pegged by Victorino on the line. There's a £1 swing in favour of him round here. The only slight worry I have about this horse, he's only ever been to Cheltenham once, and that was at the festival when he was 8th in the Pertemps, a Good Time Johnny on the new course. But he's got lots going for him, and I think he's the type of horse which would do well in the Ultima. Like last year, I managed to back Shanti Classico, and it seems to be the trend now where you want to be up on the pace. You want to be sort of in a lovely rhythm out front, and if something comes and picks you up the hill, then fair play. But Shanti Classico went from the front last year, got a lovely rhythm, ping, 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 and I think the Changing Man will do exactly the same. I think the Changing Man will be leading probably about 2 lengths clear, coming up to the last. It just depends if there's a lurker, something maybe like Krebely, something which is just well handicapped that can pick him up the hill. But in the Ultima, a wide open Ultima, the Changing Man is like 6-1 or something like that. He would be my fancy. Sorry. We go on to the Mayor's Hurdle, and I can see Ryan Dean has said, "How gutted are you about the bet with brighter days ahead?" And I am pig sick. I had her at 17-2 here. She's not turning up. I think she would have been a shoe in here. She's not turned up, but the super sub Lossy Mouth turns up here. So let's just look at a few of the other runners before we get into it. Take No Chances for the Dan Skelton team. Good each way chance here. Her form is working out really well. She was third at Cheltenham in December. She had Joyeuse in front of her. She's come out and won the William Hill handicap easily. Wood Who looks very well handicapped, the winner of that day. Royal Margot has come out and won a race at Warwick as well. She then went and beat Cargeese. Heartbreak for the Honest Days punting when she beat Cargeese at Ascot. How on earth that horse got beat was very gassy. I think she'll run well here, but I think she's a little bit below what's needed, especially now Lossy Mouth is in here. Dylan Wiley says Lossy Mouth will not win. It's a big statement, but saying that all the stats are against her, I think it's something like a horse hasn't come here in the last 10 years on the back of a fool and won. What I would say to that is, though, I bet that's included in that stat. I bet very few of them would be rated as good as what Lossy Mouth is. Normally a horse rated as good as her won't fall. So that stat is probably amplified by a lot of big price horses which are out of their depth here. July Flower was a horse that I was looking at before Lossy came here. One run for Henry de Bromhead since coming over from France. I think they were just going to give her a nice run around. She was sent off 15-2, so not much market support, but she ran and won really nicely, running to an RPR of 140. You'd think she'd step ahead from that, but I think she will come short here. Jay DeGrugy, a horse that deserves to be there, but I can't have her near the top of the market. She won nice enough on her reappearance, hadn't been seen for a while. She won by 6 lengths, but for me, it was a poor old race, and it was workmanlike until the last half furlong. And I thought she was similar to that when she won her Grade 1 at Fairyhouse last year. She looks a little bit workmanlike, whether she just does what she needs to do, but I would be looking elsewhere. And again, it's boring, but Lossiemouth comes in. She switched from the Champion Hurdle, whether that's the right decision or not. I think for racing, she should have gone for the Champion Hurdle, but for the horse, this is the right race for her. I think they've come to the agreement and the realization that she's not a Champion Hurdle horse, and she's probably not as good over 2 miles. She's ran at Cheltenham 3 times. She won the Triumph. She's won the Mares' Hurdle when she came over on Trials Day last year, and all of those times she couldn't have won much easier. She's a 160 rated mare. She's £9 clear of Jay DeGrugy, who's the closest one in second. Listen, her prep hasn't been good this year, but if Constitution Hill is the best hurdler of all time, she got within 2.5 or 3 lengths of him when she didn't go the early gallop. So that was a monster performance. I think Lossiemouth back to 2.5 miles. I think the bookies will be crying because I think the muggy threefold has gone in. Daniel had to make a good point. She now has Paul Townend on board as well. That was probably a big factor why she didn't go for the Champion Hurdle, because he had opted to ride State Man. But yeah, Lossiemouth just wins the Mares' Hurdle, and I absolutely love her. She's my favourite National Hunt mare in training, so I hope she wins. And let's hope all the boys are waiting on Constitution Hill in the Champion Hurdle to make it a massive fourfold. I think it pays about 7-1 now, but I think it would probably be worse for the bookies compared to the year when Annie Power went at the last. If she would have stayed up, I think if this fourfold goes in, that would cost them more than what it would have done if she would have stayed up. So let's look at for me, it's a 2-horse race. Brighter Days Ahead versus Constitution Hill, a great matchup. But for me, I can't have Brighter Days Ahead at all. I'm stubborn that she's not gone for the Mares' Hurdle, so I might be pocket talking, and by all means tell me in the comments. But for me, her true running is when she beat State Man. She was race fit. She'd already had a win. State Man, old man State Man, the OAP, needed the run and was going to beat her if he would have pinged the last. He made a blunder at the last and was only beaten 3/4 a length. For me, that is her true running. That is her true running. When you look at the race last time out, yes, the times and sections were good, but it's such a false run. She was 20 lengths clear by the second, and whether that's a reflection on all the other jockeys for letting her get 20 lengths clear, I don't think she would be she can do that against Constitution Hill, and Winter Fog was third, lads. She's taken on Constitution Hill, who's an absolute beast here. I honestly think if Lossiemouth was running here, Lossiemouth would be second. Fair play that Gordon's come in here. Champion Hurdle horses don't come around very often, so I understand why they've gone for it, and fair play to them. But for me, Constitution Hill is just in another league to Brighter Days Ahead. Let's not forget, Brighter Days Ahead was beaten at this meeting last year, as Geffen has just pointed out. They might not go hard enough to get Constitution Hill off the bridle. That brings me on to my point that I think the best performance Constitution Hill has ever put in is when Dysart Dynamo went off like a bullet from a gun in the Supreme, and he just sat behind it, picked it up, come around the bend and cleared off. They're going to have King of Kingsfield in there, Burdett Road in there, put in the pace, and I think Nico de Bourneville and Constitution Hill will just sit behind Brighter Days Ahead, and as they come 2 out, he'll take it up and say, see you later. The place will go mental. Woodsy has said Constitution Hill, I can only see half of it, wins on that. I imagine that says bridle. And I think Constitution Hill will win. BDA at 100% with Constitution Hill at 80%. Listen, we don't know what percent Constitution Hill is at. his work looked good. Whether you can read into that, he beat Lossiemouth. I still think even if he's 80%, he would beat Brighter Days Ahead. That's my opinion. They could set the race up for Burdett Road if they try and take each other on early. I think Burdett Road will be out front, and Constitution Hill has already beaten Burdett Road, a race fit Burdett Road in the Christmas Hurdle when Connie Hill needed the run as well. So for me, Constitution Hill wins and hopefully lands the fourfold. Gethin James, it was Kopek de Boards in the first one, mate. It will be my mate AJ in a few years' time, the Raven Canary. Imagine that. Imagine being on a preview here saying my mate AJ is going to win. And actually, whilst I've got you guys here, if anyone does want to join the Basher Watts Racing Syndicate, we've got shares left in my mate AJ. He's going into training with Ben Pooling. He looks a big chaser, a massive chaser. You can see horses grow bum high, and he's very bum high. It's £600 for 1% and then just £40 a month. But yeah, it's going to be so much fun. It's about 50% sold out. So yeah, I'd love to have you on board. Drop me a DM. If you're on YouTube, go on basherwattsracing.com or email me at basherwattsracing@gmail.com. Or if you're on Instagram, just drop me a DM. I would love to have you on board. But let's get into the Fred Winter, because we're going to back the winner of the Fred Winter, and then you're going to buy a share with your winnings. And there's one I really like here. Now, let's have a look. 22 runners, a tricky race for punters. So probably a smaller bet would be advised here. Hang on, I'm just going to plug my phone in. But there's one that I like. I got a nice price. The value seems to has gone. The Vaping Canary, he's going to start off in bumpers, mate, in the autumn time. Like I spoke to Ben Pooling about it. He was like, there's just no benefit to running the horse before the spring. So we'll let him come into himself and have a nice experience. The first time he's out, he'll be ready. Okie dokie. So you've got Stencil at the top of the market, ran well behind East India Doc, who's a 5-2 favourite for the Triumph. And I think how Stencil runs will have an impact on the Triumph. I think if Stencil wins, East India Doc definitely goes off favourite. If he doesn't win, I think Lou Lambert definitely goes off favourite. So he will have an impact on the market for me. Ran to an RPR of 132. Given a mark of 135, good form, proven he takes to the course. He does have a leading chance, but he carries 11-11. Wouldn't be for me here. Now, Total Look. I know a lot of people like Total Look, but he disappointed me when he didn't win at Cheltenham. He travelled really well. He was getting £3 from the front two, and he just came up on short. On timings, though, he's very closely matched to Stencil when they both ran over course and distance. Strange run last time out. He dropped to last, stayed on, was probably looking for a mark. Be no surprise to see Total Look run really well, but he's not for me. You then have the likes of Mercia. 2 runs for Willie Mullins, beaten on debut. Nice second last time out to Bacchanalian, who has since won, but I think it's quite a little bit below what's needed here. A lot of people are saying put your hands together, one of the Joseph O'Brien horses, but that's not the one I like. Put your hands together. It was impressive in December, but that form isn't working out great. The second scrambled home by a head when sent off at odds of 2-9. The fifth has been well beaten behind Bacchanalian. The third and sixth of that race have been beaten since. He was given a big suspect ride by Mark Walsh last time out. They're looking for a mark. He could be chucked in, but would not be for me. The one I like here is Beyond Your Dreams. So Beyond Your Dreams has had 3 starts over hurdles with form figures of second, and first. But she cannot jump to save her life. Every time she's raced, she's made an absolute howler. And when she was with like Total Look and last time out, she made an absolute howler at the last. Last time out, she looked like she was going to be 3rd or 4th. The change of gear she's got and her turn of foot is frightening, and I think she will fly up the hill. She was only beaten half a length by Total Look, and she was getting £7 that day. She gets £9 this day, and if she can, I think if this horse can jump, there's about £10 improvement in her. I backed her at 16-1. She's now about 7 or 8-1 chance. The money is coming. I think they'd have schooled her like she's sitting her GCSE soon. And I think if she jumps, Beyond Your Dreams will go very close for Joseph O'Brien, who has a very well handicapped this team this year. Yeah, she's about, what price is she? 7-1, which is fair enough. Carries 10 stone 13. I think Beyond Your Dreams has got a big chance here. Callum Mounder, how are you doing, bud? Right, we will move on to the last race on day number 1. Hopefully the muggy fourfolders come in, or at least a couple of those, and we are in a nice position. Now, Willie Mullins has trained the 3 out of the last 7 winners. Gordon Elliott has trained 4 out of the last 14 runners he's had, but only 1 of the last 11 favourites has won. And at the time, what it is now is the hour is favourite, and I can't have now is the hour at all. Definitely be taking him on. Not been impressed with him. He's finished 6th, 5th, and 4th this season. He's won over 3 miles, but he doesn't strike me as a proper stayer. Maybe the whole season's been a plot, and if it has, then fair play. But he's not the one for me. There's a form line I really like here, and that is Haiti Colors and Transmission. Now, Haiti Colors took on Transmission at Cheltenham. I think it was December. And had the race won by the last. Now, Transmission is a proper national hunt horse. Like, he just keeps plugging on and plugging on and plugging on. Like, I backed him, I think it was the November meeting there. It was in an honest day's punting. And Transmission, he looks beat. Like, he'll come down the hill getting ridden along, and he'll just keep finding. That's what happened against Haiti Claus. In the end, I think it was only, what was it? I must have it written down something. I think he was only beaten like 3 lengths or something. What was it? I think it was only a couple lengths. And Transmission does have a swing in his favour with the weights. Patrick Mullins is booked to ride. Obviously, Patrick Mullins used to do really well in this race. When was the great Gaillard Menil? 2 years ago, maybe. And obviously, Road Transmission when he won at Cheltenham in November. But for me, Haiti Colors, I just think he's a class above these. He was impressive at Aintree over 3 miles, first time out this season. He had the race won by the last, as I said, at Cheltenham last time out, and he travelled all over them that day. He came there absolutely tanking. He probably didn't sprint clear up the finish, but I think he will definitely be, Haiti Claus will be the last one off the bridle for sure. He ran back over hurdles last time out, probably to protect his mark. He's up £3 since his Cheltenham chase win. Connections have come here. Must be confidence he stays. He carries 11 stone 4, but Haiti Colors for me in the National Hunt Chase has a massive chance. And I will have a small cover bet on Transmission because I think for me he's the danger. But for me, Haiti Colors wins the National Hunt Chase. What have I missed? Monteith James, you've missed the Mayor's Hurdle, mate, but hopefully Lossie wins. Dylan Wiley is saying he's in Team Haiti. So is Stephen Paul Davies. What have I missed over here on YouTube? What do you think of Kopek, de Boards, Constitution Hill and Marchwood? Hopefully it lands, Electric Magic. Hopefully it lands. What's my pension going on, Herbert? Keep the pension, mate. Don't lose it. Actually, I've just forgot a horse. Someone's just said Jericho Rock wins this. I should have mentioned him. He's a proper lovely chaser. Made a really nice comeback. He had like 2 years off from injury. Made a really nice eye-catching comeback. Technically he's still a novice, which is mental, but he's a proper stayer. When you look at his form, his last run at the festival is second to Crack Rambler in the Ultima. Obviously, Crack Rambler has gone and won the Grand National. That's top form. He was behind Lamilos on his comeback run at Windsor. He's on a nice mark, 131. But I'd like him to have had another run. You know, 1 run in 2 years to then go and run in this over 3 miles 6 is a big ask. But he is well in, and it wouldn't be a shock to me if he was to play. So I'd have Haiti Claus first, Transmission second, Jericho Rock third. We then move on to day number 2, proper race this, the Turners Novices Hurdle. 12 of the last 28 favourites have won. So you want to be looking at the top of the market, and for me this is definitely a 2-horse race. Let me see if I can get the odds up. Final Demand or New Line? Let me know in the comments. Who are you with? Final Demand, the New Line, or something else? Woodsy says the New Lion. Who have we got? Dylan Wiley says the New Lion. Is there any? Oh, Darren Chattleborough says Final Demand. Mute says New Lion. Dot says the New Lion. Carl Brooks says the New Lion. Adam Murphy, the New Lion. Geffen James, the New Lion. Callum, the New Lion. Jake Stone, Final Demand. Ollie Taylor, Final Demand. Kenny Mega, Final Demand. Peter Dowling, Final Demand. So a proper matchup here. The New Line for Max Walker and Carl Brooks. Final Demand for Rob. Let's look at the race. It's a proper class. This is what a novice hurdle should be like at the festival. Two future champions taking each other on. Now, for me, I'm not pocket talking because I back Final Demand in the Bartlett, but for me, Final Demand should be running in the Albert Bartlett. Like when you look at him, he's a proper 3-mile chaser. He's a big galloping horse. If he was to go to the Albert Bartlett, which they said is like a 30% chance, he would gag up. He would absolutely shit up in the Albert Bartlett. He's got a massive chance here. Let's not get it twisted. He's got a massive chance. I just did another preview of Ruby, and he put it up as one of his bets for the week. So if you do like Final Demand, he's going to run a massive race. But for me, the New Lion is the one to be on here. He's 3 from 3 this season. He won at Chepstow and twice at Newbury, and his run at Newbury in November is working out really well. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th have all come out and won Frank in the form. He gagged up in the Challow Hurdle, and he only won by 4.5 lengths, but really that could have been as far as Harry wanted him to be. For me, the New Lion is the better hurdler and the quicker hurdler and the speedier horse. And the ground plays a massive part here. I think if the ground was like proper soft ground, Final Demand would probably be clear favourite. But on this quick ground, I just think the New Lion wins this nicely. I just think he's the speedier horse. I did a preview at Warwick with Dan Skelton on Thursday, and I asked him, because I was quite interested, I said, where do you think the New Lion will be next year? And he said Champion Hurdle. He said, I hope he's far too good over hurdles to go over fences, and he's that good. Dan Skelton thinks it will be a Champion Hurdle horse next year. And on the contrary, I think Final Demand next year will be in the Brown Advisory, probably a Gold Cup horse in like 2 years' time. I just think the New Lion wins this here. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what about the Challow Hurdle form? The Challow Hurdle, there you go, Bobby, fits all the trends bar the Challow Hurdle form. You say this, right? But normally the Challow Hurdle is won by like a soft ground Paul Nicholls horse that probably isn't like classy enough to win the Turners. And when you look at the Nathaniel Lacey, which the New Lion won, doesn't throw up Cheltenham Festival winners either. So like the last winner to win the Nathaniel Lacey and go and win at the Cheltenham Festival was Let's Dance in the 2017 Mares Novices Hurdle. So neither really are a good pointer. I think you just have to go on what we've seen already. And for me, the New Lion just is a class above, will win this. And I think he'll be second favourite for the Champion Hurdle after he wins this. We're all on the old Tiger, says Dylan. Throw that Challow stat in the bin, says Kean. It's just a novice hurdle around Newbury. I like it. Now, the Yellow Clay, if he does come here, 4 from 4 this season, he sets a proper good standard. But I think he'd want a deluge in rain to be competitive. And he's about £6 below these on his top RPR. And he's had 4 runs and the others are sort of stepping forward. James's Gate, it's a shame he's only had 4 runs because I'd have had him in a handicap, but wouldn't be for me possible angle. You could look at Potter's Charm. I didn't think they should have ran him at Cheltenham last time out, where he was beat by 6 Mile Bridge, but who's since tested positive to a banned substance. Naughty Mr. Fergal O'Brien. Maybe you could upgrade that performance. But for me, the New Line wins this. And what price is he now? I still think he's a nice price, you know. Ollie Murphy was on the panel with me at Warwick, and he was like, the vibes about this horse are just, he's an absolute good thing. So back the New Lion. Shane, does Kopech wearing a hood worry you? Not at all, mate. I'd much rather him wear a hood than not wear a hood. He's going to be lit up and everything. So that does not worry me whatsoever. The New Lion was none too impressive first time out of Newbury, and he beat nothing in the Cello. I wouldn't say that, Mark. As I just said, the form of his Newbury race has actually worked out really, really well. And there's a horse that was behind him in the Cello who I like for one of the races on Friday. When you speak to trainers, do they always tell you the truth on a horse's chance and put you in the know? Depends who you're speaking to and how matey you are with them. Liam's buddy, 7-4 the New Line. 7-4 for me is a bet. Connor, 100% agree with you. Ryan, Right, let's move on to the Brown Advisory. Those of you that are in my racing club, if you're not in the racing club, join it. It's fantastic and good fun. And I will put this 15,000 word document in there. Hopefully, those of you who are in the racing club are on Ballyburn at 12-1. This sounds like a fake story. Believe me, it's not. I was out in Dubai with Ruby Welsh for the Dubai World Cup last March. We're having dinner, and him and his wife left. And I said, before you go, Ruby, I won't see you for a while. I want to know, does Ballyburn go chasing or does he stay hurdling? He said he goes chasing, Bash. I said, okay. I said, because this is when the Marsh JLT was still the Marsh JLT. I said, does he go for the Marsh, the 2.5 mile, or does he go for the Brown Advisory? He said, I think he'd go for the 3 mile race. So the boys in the racing club were on at 12-1 Ballyburn. And for me, he just wins this. He does just win this. All the stats are with him. You have to be rated over 150. He's rated 160. For me, Dancing City, definite player. Very solid, safe jumper. Probably a far better jumper than Ballyburn. Luke Crawshaw was having his house on Ballyburn. Things you love to see. But for me, Dancing City should be running in the National Hunt Chase. Now, obviously, he can't because of how they've changed the race. He's not classy enough. He's a bit of a boat. When you look at his 2 RPRs, he ran to an RPR of 139 and 149. Ballyburn's last 2, 158 and 160. There's like £10 plus between them on RPRs. Dancing City, I think he'll jump really well, but I think when the race really hots up, sort of 2 out, Ballyburn kicks, Dancing City will just stay on one pace. Better Days Ahead, very good jumper, very good stayer. And I quite like the way they campaigned him, sort of slowly bring him along. He beat Slade Steele on his chasing debut, was just denied by Croke Park, which is no sort of detriment to his chances here. He just held on from the Albert Bartlett winner, Stella Story, was getting £5 that day, but I think he was always holding. And I actually think Better Days Ahead will finish in front of Dancing City. There's a horse at a big price, which I'm annoyed is coming here, and it's a horse called Gorgeous Tom. For me, he should be going for the Ultima. He's 2 from 4 over fences. He fell on one of them. And when he was fourth in the Grade 1 Drinmore behind Croke Park. But he was only beaten a length, and he absolutely flew home that day. This step up in trip definitely suit him. But for me, Ballyburn is a class above these. Hopefully, some of you lads were on at a nice price. How much do I have on at 12s? I think I've got 100 quid each way. It might be 80 quid each way. It was actually on my Paddy Power account, which is now banned, so I can't log on and see. But they sent me a report ages ago. But I can still, if he wins, I'll still get the winnings. But hopefully Ballyburn wins for me. We've got Neil Davison who's going out to Tenerife to watch it. I generally think Ballyburn is underrated. There's a lot of pro tipsters out there who are not having him. I think he wins easily. Carl, I am with you, mate. And I think after this, he will probably be second favourite for the Gold Cup next year. Max Roscoe had Jukebox Man each anti-post. That's unlucky. Lovely horse. But we move on to the Coral Cup. If we can pick the winner of the Coral Cup, lads, we'll be happy, because it's a horrible race for punters. One of the last 21 favourites have won. And whilst we have a look at it, who is current favourite? My iPad is about as quick as Dancing City, so it's not very quick. Kopek de Me, does he run here? Does he not? I don't know about you guys, but wherever Kopek de Me runs, I hope he gets beat. I feel like all the shrewdies are on him. Really, you can only be on him with hype. Like, even if you look at his French form, me personally, I really struggle to get hold of the French form. I've watched some of his runs and I can't make any use of it. So I don't know how you can like confidently put a nice bit of money on here. Cartier, yes, I like it. The one that I like here is Be Aware. A mark of 137, and he could be the new Skelton Special. He was second on his reappearance. He ran a massive race behind Bartlett Road in the Greatwood Hurdle at Cheltenham. I think with an extra furlong, that was over, what was it, 2 miles, the Greatwood? 2 miles, half a furlong. With an extra furlong, he would have actually won the Greatwood. He'd be carrying a lot higher weight. But Bartlett Road has then come out and third to Constitution Hill and Lossiemouth in the Christmas Hurdle. So the form is rock solid. Plot job, Be Aware, 100%. He was then third behind Fiercely Proud. But for me, they didn't want to win that day. He's been running over 2 miles. He steps up to 2 mile 5 here. He runs sort of more towards the back of the field and he'll pass horses, which is a little bit scary. But he definitely stays 2 mile 5. He's run over it before when he was second at Kempton last March. He ticks a lot of boxes. There's one issue. There is one issue. And the issue is he's trained by Dan Skelton. So probably instead of getting a double figure price, you're now getting 6 to 1. Like, it seems like everyone has cottoned on to this. Obviously, all the previews have come out, and I was there with Dan Skelton, and his words were, if he settles, he will win. So for me, Be Aware, massive plot job. And I think with this step up and trip, he'll take all the beating. Impoised Trois, I've seen quite a few people say, although like Nicky Henderson's won 4 of the last 15 runnings of this, but I don't see it being him. For me, he was beaten fair and square of 134 in January 2024. He then got up to win by a length and a quarter of the same mark in November. He runs off 141. I just don't think he's got a lot in the locker. There's one at a big price I do quite like here. A horse called Classic King. Massive prices. I think it's like 33 to 1. It's definitely like around 20s plus. Could be worth a small little each way bet. Ran a good race, third to Outer Belly last time, and Joyo Machine was in second, but he was way out the back of the field. He made really good late headway and shaped as if this step up and trip will suit him even further. His mark is the same. He has a nice pull at the weights with Outer Belly. It was impressive the time before at Doncaster. By no means do I think this horse is a good thing, but Classic King is 33 to 1, could be worth a little each way bet. But for me, Be Aware is a big plot job. Would Who, says JP, I don't think, is it she? I don't think she's coming here. I think she might be running on Friday. Kieran Behan, that's a nice each way shout. Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, look, people punt how they like. I get stick regardless of what I do. I would much rather back 2 horses in a race like this. Be Aware, say, what's he, 6 to 1 on the nose, and I would have a small each way in Classic King, just in case. That's just the way I'd like to bet. But that's the Coral Cup for me. We move on to the next race, which isn't a race I'll have a big fancy or play in, and that is the cross country. The Glenn Farkless cross country. When Tiger Roll was in this, I was excited by it. This is the 3:20 on Wednesday, the cross country Jack. Stumptown, he's 3 from 4 when running over the cross country course. He was he unseated on his first try. He's since won this at the December meeting. Everything points that he's going to run a massive race. He's got a mark of 157. There's not many hiding places there. A lot of people think Stumptown's a good thing. It's just not a race I would want to be getting stuck into. If I was going to have a bet, it would be on Galvin off a mark of 154. And he was second to Delta Work in this off 166 2 years ago. And he ran to an RPR of 163 that day. They pulled 26 lengths clear of the third. It was like a real quality running of it. And he's only ran 6 times since in the last 2 years. And he showed he still got the ability. He was 4th in the Grand National last year. He was second in the American Grand National in October. The ground was a bit too quick for him that day. You know, let's not forget he went off 100 to 32nd fav for the Gold Cup when he was 4th. I think he's a classy horse. He's versatile on the ground. I think good to soft will be no worries for him. The only issue I have is whether this is like a bit of a prep race for the Grand National. But apparently he's working well. Dylan Wally says, Mr. Coffee stays. He's just such a monkey, and he Mr. Coffee. But Galvin is going for the National Stewart, but he is going to run here. And apparently he's working well. What price is he now? It's just not a race. It's not a race. I actually normally watch this race in the Centaur just because it's a bit of a laugh. Galvin 4-1. I think that's like fair enough. But if you're on Stumptown, you think he's a good thing. Good luck to you. Stumptown wins, says Finn. You may be right, mate. But hopefully we can all agree on the winner of the next, which is the Champion Chase. Now, for me, I don't think this is the strongest Champion Chase. In fact, I think it's very weak. I think it's a poor old race. And the big question, can John Bon finally get his Cheltenham Festival win? First of all, I think it would be nice to see Marine Nationale. Like, I won't have I've had like 20 quid each way just in case. But I'd love to see Marine Nationale win this. Obviously, the first horse that gave Mikey O'Sullivan his Cheltenham Festival winner. I actually think he has a good chance. I think he'll probably finish ahead of Solness, who beat him at the Dublin Racing Festival last time. He does look a bit dangerous. Looks like he's coming forward, and he'll definitely be better on this good ground rather than soft, because I think he has a bit of issue with his breathing. Liberty Hunter is a horse, if you don't like a fav and you want a bit of an each-way poke, there's going to be lots of pace on in this race. He likes to lob around at the back. He'll probably be ridden for a place, but I'd say he'd be quite the level of winning here. Energumene, for me, would have to have it a lot slower, a lot softer ground to have a chance. Solness definitely has a nice chance. You know, like Solness and Matata, I think, are going to tear off and make it a proper like end-to-end gallop. But for me, John Bon is just in a different league this year. For me, he's like the best he's ever been. His two highest rated performances have come this year in the Tingle Creek and the Clarence House. I thought the Clarence House last time out was fantastic. They seem to have like worked him out this year. Just let him bowl along. You know, he's got a great record with Nico on board. Fire him into his fences. He's looked unbeatable this year. The only slight issue I have is that I don't think this year he's really had horses in front of him. Normally he's sort of dictating things, and maybe Solness and Matata out front. But I think John Bon just wins this. What do you guys think? Do you think John Bon finally gets his Cheltenham Festival win? I think this is the most confident at the festival you've ever been for John Bon. I agree with you, actually, Carl. And he just seems like the finished article this year. Like last year, his jumping wasn't great, and you think, oh, he's not quite. You know, when he meets a top class horse, he'll get found out. But I don't think there is a top class horse in there. Matata goes Aintree. Fair enough, Kean. So he's not got Matata to worry about. John Bon is too good. People doubt him every race. He just goes out and wins. He is actually a fantastic horse, Jonathan, isn't he? Like, he's won over £1 million. Everyone sort of, what was it, 600 grand he was bought for? Everyone sort of sniffed at the price tag. But what a fantastic horse. I don't think he's ever been unplaced. But yeah, Solness is the sort of unknown. But John Bon double with Ballyburn, says GB Craigs. Jack Tompkins, you've missed it, but yes, it is, mate. Brad Carter makes a good point. He thinks he's a £10 worse horse at Cheltenham. He definitely doesn't put his best runs in at Cheltenham, but I don't know. I just think if he doesn't win the Champion Chase here, he will never win at the festival. This is his chance. Like, this is his golden opportunity. If he doesn't take it here, he will never win here. Right, we move on to the Grand Annual. A nasty race for punters. 2 out of the last 20 favourites have won this. it's tricky, but there's two I'm very sweet on. There's two I'm really, really sweet on here. Let me just get the odds up and running. Oh, interesting. My mate Mozzie's gone favourite. I love this horse. I don't know if you remember, I backed him in the Arkle last year. Dreadful shout when Gaelic Warrior won. And I feel like he was given a bit of a suspect ride last time out, but that was off 148. The handicapper, English handicap, has got him at 151. So there's no hiding places. I love my mate Mozzie, but he's not for me here. What have I missed here? Angus, who's your dad? I'm intrigued now. Who's your dad? Jumbo on 5-6 for the Champion Chase. Wins Liam. Let's hope so. So I've got two fancies here in the Grand Annual. I've just missed it on here. For me, again, that's how I'd like to back in these big handicaps. You back how you like. I will definitely have two plays here. It's a horrible race. Like normally I'll have two plays and one is either fallen or unseated and one's competitive. So at least you've got something going for you. Dot. I don't know what your name is on YouTube. Dot. It just comes up with Dot. Jazzy Matty, get the mortgage on it. I'm all over Jazzy Matty here. I think he's got a massive chance and he's still good value. He is, what's he, 10-1? You might be able to get a little bit bigger. So when you look at him, he's off a mark of 135 here. He won the Boodles 2 years ago. Mikey O'Sullivan was on board, so it'd be fantastic to see him win. But I think he's got a fantastic chance. He came over to run at Cheltenham over course and distance in October. He was given a horse called Path Through, who's a fantastic horse, has run big in handicaps here before. He was giving him £8 that day, and Path Through was an 8 to 15 favourite. He was only beaten ahead, and that was off 133. He's here off 135. After that ran at Cheltenham, they put him over hurdles to protect his mark. And even on this hurdles run, he actually ran really well. He's second when he went off a double-figure price. This just looks like a plot job to me. And Jazzy Matty takes all the beating and could make it 2 wins at the Cheltenham Festival. Finn Whiteman, am I getting every day? Yes, I will, bud. There's another horse I do like, and it's Unexpected Party. Won this last year. He's of a £3 higher mark. But I think this is a less quality race than what it was last year, if that makes sense. So I think he can overcome the £3. He shows he's still in great shape last time out. He was second to Matata at Warwick. Very good form. He ticks a lot of boxes. On the preview I did with Dan Skelton, he said, the classic, I'm starting to see some glimmers now. His work's starting to become really good. And I think Unexpected Party is being geared up all season for another big run at this. So hopefully Jazzy Matty and Unexpected Party ping the last together. You're getting about what I've got written down here: 12-1 Jazzy Matty, Unexpected Party 9-1. He's now 10-1 Liam. I would be backing both of those. Guy Bishop, mate. It's all in my. I've got a massive write which is in the racing club, mate. So if you want to join it, like you can just join the racing club just for 1 month. The big document is in there. So yeah, if you're not in it, mate, take some notes if you want to back what I'm thinking. If not, by all means, make your own opinion and best of luck. The bumper, tricky one this year. The 5:20 on Wednesday. The Weatherby's Champion Bumper. It's wide open this year. I think it's a little bit of a poor renewal. And I said that at the Warwick preview, and Dan Skelton said, you try trading the winner of it. So I got shot down there. But like normally you have like a Facile Vega, an Envoy Allen, that's a Gerhard in here, like a proper, I appreciate it, a proper future champion in here. And I just don't think we've got that. Like, annoyingly, we don't have Wind Beneath My Wings. He's a non-runner. I was on a nice price at 10-1 for him. I think he would have won. He was massively impressive. He's massively impressive at Ascot. But just wouldn't be for me. Ian Pollock makes a good point, and we will come to that, Ian. Got Copacabana at 7-1. We pray, says CE 2005. Well, as I said, I just did a preview of Ruby, and he put that up as one of his bets for the week. It's a horrible race, not punting because you're not confident. I agree. It is a horrible race. When you look through it, the thing that I don't like about the top two in the market, Copacabana and Game of Inches, is these Irish bumpers. You see these massive 10+ length winners. And like for me, if you look at the Dublin Racing Festival in the bumper there, probably 4 or 5 of them won by like 8 lengths plus the last time out. As soon as they meet good horses, that they're nothing. Like you often get these false, really big victories over at Ireland, which doesn't really equate to much. And Game of Inches and Copacabana are both like that. Like fair play, they could be very special. I wouldn't really like Game of Inches here. I think he's a big sort of like 3-miler. I wouldn't say he's a bumper type. I'm not sure Copacabana. I would let him run without my money. The news article was that JP McManus has had one bet this festival and it's on him, even though it's not his horse. But I don't know. It wouldn't be for me. The horse that I like is Calypso's Chance for Gordon Elliott. He's an impressive bumper winner. He's 2 from 2, so at least he's had 2 runs. He's had a battle. If it comes to a battle, what he's going to find. He sat behind the leaders, went round them quick and clear nicely. And the thing that I like is that Gordon Elliott normally always misses the Dublin Racing Festival with his best bumper horse. He did it last year with Romeo Coolio, who was 2nd, and he's done it this year with Calypso's Chance. Jack Kennedy has said he's going to ride this horse. And Calypso's Chance is, what price is he now? Maybe like 5 to 1. No, Gordon isn't 3 in a row last year because Jasmine DeVoe won it last year for Willie Mullins. Hoof and Hustle, mate. Mate. You're very welcome. If any of you guys on Instagram haven't followed him already, give him a follow. Put some great horse racing content out there. Someone chuck in the price because I can't get it to load. Calypso's Chance is 6 to 1. That's a lovely price. It's a lovely price, 6 to 1. Like you could even go muggy each way. It's not a race I have a big bet in at all. If I was going to have a bet, small bet on Calypso's Chance and just hope the 2 Willie Mullins things at the top of the market aren't the one. 7 to 1 available, Liam's buddy. Okay, let's move on, lads. We are now day number 3. I'm seeing people asking what meeting we're talking about. We're talking about the Cheltenham Festival. We're on day number 3. Let's hope we've had some winners. And it's funny, actually, because if you watch the Honest Days punting, you'll know last year on the Thursday, I had nearly one of my best ever. I had my best ever day at the Cheltenham Festival last Thursday. A bit like Tahupu went in, Protectorat went in, Shake 'em Up Harry went in. Absolutely cleaned up. It was phenomenal because the 2 years before that, my worst day's punting came on this Thursday. I remember Tahupu. I think we had. Was it Segino? Did Segino get beat? No, it wasn't Segino. Oh, who was it? Shishkin. Shishkin got beat in the Ryanair one year. Tahupu got beat in the Stayers. Oh, it was an absolute bloodbath. And I had Angel's Dawn in the Kim Muir to get me out of trouble. That's when you know, you're not into it. CH78. What's the over under this bloke picks? 75% of favourites. Mate, I'll pick whatever I think is the winner. And if you don't agree with that, you're more than welcome to go and post your own content, bud. But we will move on to the Mares Novices Hurdle. Willie Mullins has traded the first 5 winners of this race, but I'm not going with the Willie Mullins horse. 3 out of the last 9 favourites have won here. Let me try and get the odds up. Now, one thing I can pass on, which he's been bullish about in his stable tours, is the Ben Pauling horse, Divine Luna. Apparently she's been sick all year and they haven't been able to get hold of her. Like, she was beaten at real short price at Cheltenham? No, she won at Cheltenham. She was beaten at a short price last time out. And apparently, like, now is the first time they've properly got her like happy and healthy. And she could be worth an each way bet. It's not a race I would have a strong fancy. I don't think I've ever backed the winner of this race. I think Galileo Dame is coming here. She would have a massive chance because she's a 4-year-old. She gets a £10 allowance, which is massive here. She was behind Hello Neighbour at the Dublin Racing Festival, closing as well. So I think the extra, what was it, 2 mile 1 here? Was it 2 miles she ran at DRF, if not the same trip? But it depends how Hello Neighbour runs a couple of days before. Will probably determine if she goes off favourite or not. I think Galileo Dame could go off favourite. I don't like Maureen. Now, Maureen obviously got a big following because she's out of a half sister to Faheen, the machine, the legend. But Maureen wouldn't be for me. Like, she's actually done nothing wrong. Let me hang on. I'll come off it. Let me go live again. 1 sec, lads. Gosh, we go live again. Just give me a second, guys, on YouTube. My Instagram has just stopped for some reason. Mason Wallace, good to see you again, Bash. How are you, mate? Jubilee Alpha. Again, don't like the race. I do agree with you, actually. Jubilee Alpha does have a nice chance. The owner of Galileo Dame has backed her to win the Triumph. I hope she does go for the Triumph, Mark. I definitely hope she goes for the Triumph. Fact to file, please, the last leg of the huge Akka. Imagine. Diva Luna was bouncing in the Ben Pate stable tour. What have you heard from the stable, Paul? Exactly what I've said, just that she's been really ill. And yeah, she's now like fit and healthy. Instagram, don't worry, I haven't done anything. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Brad Carter says she will go for the Triumph. I really hope Galileo Dame does go to the Triumph because I think she's a massive danger. Loyal Luton fan here. Constitution Hill is a certainty. Yes, Paul, I agree with you, buddy. All right, we seem to be back up and running. So the one that I like here is 6.5 for the Gavin Cromwell team. Now, the reason why I like it, she's got a lot of experience. Her flat campaign was top class. She was third in the Iris Cesarewitch. That's top class form. She was third in the Iris Cesarewitch. She was 3 from 8 over the flat. And she'd come out and she absolutely gagged up over hurdles on her hurdles debut. The form has been franked even further. The second was behind Vicio, third at the DRF. Gavin Cromwell's put her up as one of his best chances of the week. It's a poor old race. Look, it wouldn't shock me if there was like a 20-1 proper unexposed horse that could win here. But for me, 6.5 on what I've seen is the most exciting. And if I was going to have a bet, it would definitely be 6.5. For those of you that might have missed, I did say Jubilee Alpha, a rare Paul Nicholls horse with a chance, which is mental considering the size of his operation. Those of us that were there at Windsor, we backed her that day. She won really nicely that day. Form's been franked. Bluey has won since. The form has been franked from a run at Taunton beforehand. She's a lovely mare. Jubilee Alpha will run a big race, but I don't know if she's got that class and sort of, what's the word? Got like the chance of being as good as what 6.5 has. You're going to struggle sleeping for the next 2 nights, Dom, with excitement. It is Cheltenham Eve. Okay, is Big Al going Doncaster? Yes, 30th of March. It's the Sunday, but it's a apprentice race. But he will go there. But anyway, so it's a weak selection, but I think 6.5 has got a nice chance in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. We then go on to the 2 o'clock on Thursday, the Jack Richards Novices Limited Handicap Chase. Obviously, the first running of this used to be the Turner's JLT. It's now a handicap. Tricky old race, this. Tricky old race. Like Jaguar looks to me to be coming here. Definitely has a leading chance. He's off a mark of 1:39. He won over course and distance on trials day. Beat Masaccio, Billy the Real Big Red. He ran to an RPR 1:46, so he could be nicely handicapped. He's beaten the likes of Lowry's Bar, which is very good form. Would have been second to Jinko Blue. Oh, excuse me. Second to Jinko Blue, but he took the last with him that day, was third. He's up £7 for his win. He could still be ahead of his handicapper, but I don't know. I'm just looking elsewhere. I think something will come and get Jaguar. And there's 2 plays I'll have in this race. Now, my first one, you'll see 5 to 6 on the day, game of inches. Holy moly. Della Hunty Tony leads me on to one who I think has a nice chance. It is Answer to Cafe. Now, Answer to Cafe was 4th in the Martin Pipe behind Better Days Ahead last year. He was beaten just under 20 lengths by Impere Pass when he was 4th on his chasing debut. He was then 5th to Lecky Watson. But for me, they were all looking for a mark because last time out, he absolutely bolted up. And it looked like they didn't want to be involved in the first half of the season. And he gagged up last time out. It looks to have been the plan all year along. The only problem is the handicap has not missed him whatsoever. He won off a mark of 130. He runs off 145 here. But I just think like he was laid out for the Martin Pipe last year. And I think he's been laid out again here. And I actually think he could go off quite short. He's 12-1 at the moment. Answer to Cafe. I think has a lovely, lovely chance. There's another one I'll back 2 here on the nose. And it is a horse called Firefox. Might not come here, but if he does, he is classy. He'll be carrying near top weight, which is a negative. But when you look at this horse, like his hurdle form, better than any of these. He was an unlucky 3rd in the Supreme. He actually met trouble on the run in. He was 2nd at Aintree to Mystical Power in the Grade 1. Since going chasing, he's performed really well. He won on debut over 2 mile 4, so he stays the trip really, really well. He was then 3rd to Croke Park in the Grade 1 Drimmore, but a real close 3rd as well. He's since then gone back over 2 miles, and he was 5 lengths 2nd to Ill Atlantic, and then 3rd to Marshborough in the Irish Arkle. To me, he's probably the only Grade 1 horse in here. He runs off a mark of 150. I don't know if he'll come here or not. If he does, I think he's got a massive chance. What is he? He's 10-1 on the drift from 9s, which could suggest he might not come here. Nürburgring. Lots of shouts for Nürburgring. 3 over there. Wouldn't be for me, Nürburgring. I remember thinking he had a nice each-way chance in the Triumph last year, but he never really got stuck into it. He's been running well enough from the flat. Not really yet to do it over chase fences. This could just be a plot. He's been 3rd, and 9th on his 3 starts. He's been beaten 8 lengths, and 18 lengths. Maybe he's chucked in, but he wouldn't be for me. I've got a question mark over the trip as well. Wouldn't be. I don't think he's chucked in. Nürburgring wouldn't be for me, but fair play if you like him. A lot of people do. Proper wide open race. There's a horse called Jordan's for the Joseph O'Brien team, who I'll touch on later. He's entered here, but Nürburgring, this is Nürburgring's only entry. Obviously trained by Joseph O'Brien, so I think they will put him elsewhere. But for me, Answer to Cafe and Firefox, both around 10-1 in the Jack Richards Novices chase, but it's a tricky race. And talking of tricky races, we move on to the Pertemps, and I'm gutted. I thought the Wool Park was going to run here, and if the Wool Park was going to run here, I was going to have a massive, massive bet on him. But he doesn't, which is bloody annoying. Like a lot of people here like Jericho de Repene. Make sure you're typing in your fancies, by the way. Who do you fancy for the Pertemps? A lot of people like Jericho de Repene. I don't like him at all. He had his first try over 3 miles since his point-to-point. He was 3rd at Exeter in a qualifier. He probably wasn't ridden to win that day at all, but he just didn't look like a proper 3 mile hardy stayer. You know, he ran in the Supreme. Okay, there was the bug going around the Henderson yard that day, but for me, he's a speed horse. He's been pulled up 5th and 3rd over fences. I think he's poor value. He's poor value because a lot of people. He's got quite a big fan club. Will the Rise wins the Pertemps from Ling's Buddy? Will the Rise over here as well? Diart. Couple Diart shouts. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Dart. We will see. Catcham Dairy won nicely last time out in the race where Jericho de Repene was 3rd. There was £11 difference between the two that day. I think they're going to be a lot closer this day. It wouldn't be for me. I think both of the Skelton horses, Gwynnie May Boy is going to go to Aintree. It was strange. Like the two of them bolted up last time out. And you think this is very un-Skelton-like. Like normally the Skelton runner is going to be ridden. What's the word? very patiently to not be involved. If I am going to have a bet here, it's win some, lose some. He got his 4 runs in nice and early this year, and he won at Leopardstown over Christmas. And he looked really nice. He looked nicely ahead of his mark that day. He won nicely. That was off 125. He now runs off 138. And the form line with the other horse I like, Feet of a Dancer, was behind him. Now, Feet of a Dancer sort of travelled a little bit better that day, but for me, Feet of a Dancer, whether it's a plot job, for me, Feet of a Dancer is a weak finisher. I don't think he'll fly up the hill, and you've really got to stay and finish hard, and I don't think Feet of a Dancer will. I think Feet of a Dancer will travel like the best horse, but will get beaten. Win some, lose some. He's been tonked by the handicapper, but for me, he's an improving horse. What price is he at the moment? 9 to 1. He's been nicely supported. I like that he's been kept. So he won at Leopardstown on 28th of December. He's been kept for then. He's gone up £13, but it's a poor old race. Not a race I'd want to be getting stuck into. But for me, win some, lose some would be, for me, Jericho de Repene has no chance in your opinion. I kind of do agree with you. What we're saying over here, we're talking about Marine National. Wrong race, Git. We're on the Pertemps. Dart surely has a chance. He's been really consistent, like form figures of 4th, 1st, 3rd, 2nd. He's off a mark of 130. Like, he could be nicely well in. I just think he's going to find 1 or 2 too good. I don't think he's got, although you don't really need class to win this race, I just think he's always going to find 1 too good. Wouldn't be for me. But we move on to the Ryanair. And I want to know all your opinions on this race, because the Ryanair, for any of you that aren't following along, is the 3:20 on the Thursday. I think this could be one of the races of the festival. I think it looks a cracking race. You've got the likes of Ile Francais, looks like he's going to run here. The French horse was second in the King George, will ping out front, but Protectorat last time out, that was his best performance in my books. He pinged out front. There's going to be so much. Pace on in this race. We're seeing shouts of Factor File, please. Protectorat can't be ignored. Back left-handed. Factor File all day over here. Like, you can make a case for a lot of these, really. Protectorat, fantastic winner last year, and he was so impressive in the Fleur de Lis last time out. His jumping was honestly fantastic that day. It was a pleasure to watch. He galloped Jello into the ground. Definitely better going left-handed. I just don't know if he's going to be able to boss this race like he did at Windsor. For me, this is a better race this year than what it was last year. He's a year older. Could struggle. Banbridge could come here. Or did they say he's going for the Gold Cup? Wouldn't be for me wherever he goes. Protectorat can't be out of the top 3. Muggy each way at 11 to 2. Lee. I would agree with you, actually, Lee. I think he's absolutely... I think he's bolt. You know, he would definitely be top 3. But Ile Francais, a really tricky runner to get a grip of. Like, he's definitely interesting. I think this trip he'll definitely be dangerous on. He jumps really well. He'll make the running. He'll go from the front, but he can bleed, so he could easily bomb out. I'm not sure. I would be a little bit worried back in Ile Francais, even though you wouldn't be surprised if he just pinged and pinged and pinged. Gaelic Warrior says Luke Porter. I couldn't back a horse who's ran like he has this year. Like, he was gutless at the Dublin Racing Festival last time out. Now, he obviously was last year and he won the Arkle, but and it would actually be no surprise if he gagged up here, but he wouldn't be for me. For me, Factor File, I just cannot get away from him. Like, for me, I know my demographic on YouTube, you're a bit older than me, but for me, I've been like a fanatic in horse racing, literally as Corto finished. Annoyingly, I was just there when Corto Star was retired. But for me, in that time, Galopin de Champs is the best chaser I've ever seen. And when you think Factor File, beat Galopin de Champs in the John Durkin, absolutely fine. Galopin de Champs wants 3 miles, not 2 miles 4, so forget that. But that's still very good form. Now, the thing that I liked is at Christmas as well, is that big, like, oh, is Fact the File going to overtake Galloping de Champs? Like, there were big question marks. That proves how much of a good workhorse he is at home. It was the Savills at Christmas. And coming down to the last, I was on Galloping de Champs that day, and I'm thinking, holy moly, he has to ping this. Yes, Josh, how are you doing, mate? Nice to see you. And I cannot believe you've gone against Beyond Your Dreams in the Boodles. Disgusted with you. But yeah, in the Savills, like, you're thinking, holy shit, like, Galloping de Champs has to ping this. Like, Fact the File was there. It was there to pick up any scraps. Now, in the end, GDC length and clear. And same again, really, in the Irish Gold Cup. They rode Fact the File a different way to try and get him to reverse the form. And he was still there in the last. He just doesn't stay 3 miles. He obviously won the Brown Advisory here last year, so we know he likes the track. Like, the hill is no issue. The drop back to 2 mile 4 is fantastic. I honestly think Galloping de Champs is, he's the best horse around at the moment. In fact, I think could be the second best middle distance / staying chaser there is. And he's like, what price is he now? You're getting a decent enough price still. I think he could come there on the last on the bridle, but it's going to be a cracking race. Let me know your thoughts. You don't think LA Tétance will stay? Fair enough. I'm not sure if we like the Fact File Protectorate forecast, Woodsy. I like it. Fact File is the only horse to get near Galloping. Top form, young horse, and more improvement on the cards to come over this trip. Exactly that, Graham. Exactly what I said. And I think next year Fact File will be in the Gold Cup. Definitely. But I think they know this year they can't beat Galloping. Fact File 6-4. Like, I think 6-4, 11-8. I think that's good odds. Envoy Allen, one last hurrah. Wouldn't be for me. I think he had no excuses not to win it last year. Like, he headed Protectorate, didn't get up the hill last year. I mean, how old is he now? He's got to be old, isn't he? A big yes for Ballyburn for me, Liam. Fact File will swoop past him on that run in. That hill is no joke. Come on, we're all on in the Fact File camp. The Stayers Hurdle, the 4 o'clock at Cheltenham on the Thursday. With a little glass of water. Let me know. Type in the comments who wins the Stayers. Ballyburn next year Gold Cup. Yeah, definitely. He'll be second favourite after he wins the Brown Advisory, and then Fact the File will go joint second favourite after he wins here. Wouldn't back anything that Mark Walsh rides. Interesting. Dominic Hull, the Wall Park. Lee, Lucky Place. H. Kimber to Hoopu. Langer Dam Plot Job, Mason. Imagine. Liam McGrath, yes. Ballyburn, yes for me. Class act in the field. Toby Langadan. Bob Ollinger each way. Transmission goes for the National Hunt Chase, Robert. Langadan, Lucky Place to Hoopu. Lucky Place. The Wall Park. Interesting. Like, this is a tricky one. So, like, for me, last year, Tahupi was my nap of day 3, my biggest return of the week. And after he won, I was like, I think he might be beat next year, Like, I thought he was going to win that Stayers Hurdle on the bridle. Like, you still had the likes of Florin Porter in there. That was sort of thereabouts at the last. And I was really looking to take him on with something. I didn't know if Impere Pass would step forward, if Lagadan would step forward. But really, nothing stepped forward. And Wayne, Tottenham shit again. Cheers, Wayne. Cheers for that, bud. We'll take the point. I just can't see what beats him. Home by the Lee, I can't have. He's taken on Tahupu 3 times. He's been beaten every single time. His form figures in the race are 6th, 5th, and 3rd. I'd say he's probably in the best form he's ever been, but I can't see him reversing the form with Tahupu. Lucky Place. The thing is, he's never raced over 2 mile 5s before. This will be the furthest he's ever gone. There's no hiding place in the Stayers Hurdle. If there's any question marks whether you stay or not, you won't get home. He ran a good race in the Coral Cup last year. He was 4th. 2 from 2 this year, but he beat Gal Road 3/4 of a length the last time out. That's not Tahupu level, is it? I couldn't have Lucky Place. The Wall Park, I'm annoyed he's come here because I think he's the danger. He was unbeaten in his last 4 runs before he ran in the Grade 1 long walk hurdle. He made an awful error, 3 out. He was nearly lost, and he flew home. and he was only beaten 3 1/4 lengths by Crambo to finish 4th. He's definitely a stayer. He will definitely go up the hill. And when you look at the collateral form, he beat Gowro 2.5 lengths. Lucky Place beat Gowro 3/4 of a length. I'd say he's the one to serve it up to Tehupu. But for me, Tehupu just sets the standard. For me, he should be coming for his 3rd Stayers Hurdle. Davy Russell gave him an absolute stinker 2 years ago inside the Burley one. I'm still bitter about that now. Like, he won easy enough last year without being ultra impressive. Like, Jack wasn't kitchen sinking. It was just sort of getting him going. Turned into a little bit of a sprint last year, so you wouldn't want it to be a proper out and out, pace from the flagfall to the finish. But I just can't see what beats Tehupu. I'll have a small cover bet on the Wall Park, but Tehupu, for me, he just wins. Nemean Lion wouldn't be for me, James. If Tehupu is fitting well, you can't see him beaten. Kev, I see what you're saying. Carl Brooks, Tehupu wins. Find it really interesting that Mystical Power is running here. Don't think he's run over 3 miles, I think you mean. Yeah, interesting. But you'd be brave to back him on his first start. Nothing beats Tehupu. He is a banker for you, Woodsy. It's just such a weak renewal, isn't it? The Stayers Hurdle was like, proper weak, isn't it? Liam's buddy. Yeah, there's question marks over Mystical Power. Whether you wouldn't want to back him on his first try here. Do you think the Big Phase will win the first 4 on Tuesday? Yes, Ben. Kopek the Balls wins the Supreme. Marjorie wins the Arkle. Constitution Hill wins the Champion Hurdle, and Lossiemouth wins the Mayor's Hurdle. Get on the muggy fourfold. Poor campaign for Mystical Power, probably, but he's probably just not good enough. So yeah, it's a poor Stayers Hurdle and it's boring. I just think Tehupu will win, and I think it will just be like 2-3 lengths, and I'll probably be feeling the same again afterwards. Like, I'll probably take him on next year, but I'll probably back him again next year. But yeah, Tehupu beats the Wall Park for me. We then move on to the Plate. Tricky race. Only 5 of the last 37 favourites have won this race. Kev, if you're backing Arsenal to win the Champions League, double with Marlborough. The first leg goes in, second leg doesn't. Let's have a look at this race. Tricky race here. So many in with a chance. There's one I like at a bit of a price here. Let me see what price he is. This is the 4 o'clock at Cheltenham on Thursday. Get in the comments who you think will win this. It's horrible. Sorry, this isn't the 4 o'clock. This is the 4:40. The Festival Plate. Let's let the markets load. Who do we fancy? JS Kian. He was 3rd, mate. He completely missed the start. He had one behind him and he flew home and finished 3rd. So he actually ran really well. Jaguar wins. Ginny's Destiny. Holy moly. Another shout for Ginny's Destiny. Jeezy of the peeps. The company's sergeant. All right, let's have a look. So again, Jaguar could run here. But for me, again, I'm going to look elsewhere. Again, Firefox could run here. If he does, I'll be interested. Springwell Bay has had a lot of support. Axe around Cheltenham, 3rd to Highland in November, not beaten far. 2nd to Django Bay here in December. 1 here on New Year's Day. But the race sort of fell apart that day. Like Seddon went very, very quick. The race fell apart. He's been raised £9 for it. I think that will cost him. He'll need to take like a career best performance to be involved off a mark of 154 near top weight for Springwell Bay. Wouldn't be for me. It's tricky because there's actually 3 I like here. The first one is a horse called Masaccio, who I think could have run in the National Hunt Chase. Was impressive on his first 2 starts of the season at Newbury. He won on debut. He then followed home the Jukebox Man in the Grade 2 Coral Novices Chase. That's very good form. The Jukebox Man is a proper horse. Would have gone close in the Brown Advisory. Maybe the handicappers got hold of him. He was raised £6 and didn't really look to stay the 3 miles in the Corto Star. But then back to form, went 3rd at Cheltenham over 2 mile 4. I think 2 mile 4 is his trip. He's at £1 for that. It's the Ultima he could have run in, sorry. I think Masaccio is going to have a nice each way chance here. But there's a horse I really like, horse called Jordan's for the Joseph O'Brien's. What price is he now? 14-1. He's a proper interesting runner here. He's had 4 runs since he came over from France and joined Joseph O'Brien. He's had form figures of second, first. He then unseated when a horse fell in front of him, and then second. So basically second, first, second. And that form has worked out really, really well. So he was second to San Salvador, another Joseph O'Brien horse who has since won a Grade 3. He then beat Monbeg Park, who was who was then third in a massive handicap at the DRF and has also won since. And then his latest run over 2 mile, 3.5 furlongs, he was 4 lengths second to Impere Pass, who's a top class performer. He had to switch that day and he was closing. I actually think on another day, he would have pushed Imperial Pass very quickly that day. He's off a mark of 148, which isn't that lenient, but I think we haven't seen nowhere near the best of Jordan's. Like, others are quite exposed. I think he's very unexposed. And Jordan's can run a massive race. Wherever he goes, I'll back Jordan's for sure. I think Joseph O'Brien's got some really nice horses this year. And there's another horse who's got a squeak as well, English horse, Lord of Thunder. He's had 4 runs over fences this year, seems to be improving each time. He ran here at the October meeting, was come in to have a challenge when he fell 2 out. He's since been 4th to Lowry's Bar, 2nd to Handstands, which is very good form. And then he beat Pick Rock, who I know Ben Pauling loves. He beat Pick Rock off a mark of 129. He's been raised to 134. He could be well handicapped. So there's 3 horses I like. I hope all 3 don't turn up because I don't know how I'll play it. But it's Masaccio, Jordan's, and Lord of Thunder. Proper ding-dong handicap this. Who do you guys all fancy? Dominic, oh yes, mate, I'm going all 4 days. I'm going down tomorrow. I've got a preview. If any of you live near Cheltenham and want to hear me say exactly the same thing, I'm doing a preview at the Bull and Burford. Woodsy, you think Joseph O'Brien's going to have a big festival? I think you're right, mate. I hope so. And Gandhi thinks Lark in the Morning wins for Joseph as well. We then move on to the Kim Muir. I've only ever backed the winner once of this. It's a horrible race. 2 of the last 12 favourites have won. Johnny Who, when I wrote my write-up, was favourite. I don't know if he is still favourite. Let's let the odds load. But if we're in trouble and we're waiting for a winner in the Kim Muir to get us out of it, we're in a big, a whole world of trouble. So you've got Johnny Who at the top of the market. Loads of people are keen on Johnny Who. Let me know if you're on Johnny Who. I can't have him for the life of me. I think he's an awful price. You've got to be like a very solid jumper to win this. There's a lot of fences. It's 3 miles 2 on the new course. You've got to be a sound jumper. I think his jumping falls apart. I've seen John Joe come out and said he's a very good jumper. I can't see that at all. The wheels seem to come off him with his jumping sometimes. He won a Mickey Mouse 3-runner race on seasonal reappearance. But he got kicked out of the park by the jukebox man when he was beat over 10 lengths. He went to Ascot, went off 13-8 fav, jumped like he'd never seen a fence before, and was beaten 27 lengths. He's off the same mark here. I couldn't have him whatsoever. Sama Jest, lots of shouts for Sama Jest here. Now is the hour. I think we've already touched on him. Might not come here. Wouldn't be for me as well. I don't think he will stay. There is a horse who does stay and does go very well at Cheltenham. That is Midnight Hour Fred. He's been to Cheltenham 3 times and he's got form figures of second, and second. He definitely stays the trip. He was only beaten 1.5 lengths by Hymack at the Hunter Chase evening over 3 mile 4. Distance will be no worry. The hill will be no worry. He was last seen being second to Percival Legawa at Leopardstown over Christmas, which is superb form because Percival Legawa is a Leopardstown specialist. He's been raised £4. He runs off a mark of 132. I think Midnight Hour Fred has got a lovely each way chance here. Might find 1 too good. And there's another horse I like. Again, I'll play 2 in this race. A horse called Geet Maker or Git Maker. A proper solid stayer. And he looks to be a plot job for me. He was second to I Know the Way You're Thinking in this last year. They were 18 lengths clear of third. And we now know I Know the Way You're Thinking was chucked in that day. So that's fantastic form. He carried 11-1 last year. He carries 11-2 this year. He's had 2 very quiet runs. He's either going to come here or the Midlands Grand National. But yeah, they're the 2 I like here. Midnight Arfred, who always goes well at Cheltenham, and Geekmaker, who I think has been laid out for this and could be well handicapped. Let me know who you guys fancy in the Kim Muir. That brings us to the end of day 3. Let me know any questions you've got so far. We will move on to Gold Cup Day. Book Waffle. Who else do you think's a plot job? Be aware in the Coral Cup's definitely a plot job. Jazzy Matty, is it the Grand Annual he's going for? I think it's a plot job. But the thing is, there's plot jobs everywhere. Like, and that's why I put that video up about why you want to have like the last leg at Cheltenham paying you, because Cheltenham is the most competitive meeting you'll ever find. Every horse has been trained and targeted to peak this one day. So there's plot jobs everywhere. Like, handicaps are just a minefield. If I could come out of the festival with 1 handicap winner, I'd take it. It is hard graft. John Joe is the biggest crook in racing. Right, we move on to the Triumph, and I want to know this. Are you Team East India Doc, Team Lou Lambert, or Team Hello Neighbour? Let me know whilst I'm loading up the odds. This is the first race on Friday at the Cheltenham Festival, the Triumph Hurdle. What camp are you in? Are you camp Lou Lambert, camp East India Doc, or Hello Neighbour, or maybe another horse at a big price? We've got shouts of Lou Lambert from Rob Graham, says East India Doc. East India Doc in capitals for Jared Jones. Lou Lambert for Max. Lou Lambert for Joe Stone. East India Doc for Luke Crawshaw. East India Doc for Rusty Williams. Gibbs Island for Kev. Fair one, Kev. East India Doc can't lose, says Lawrence. Lou Lambert for Owen. East India Doc for Louis. Hoof and Hustle says East India Doc. East India Doc for Idaka. Hello Neighbour for Karja. East India Doc for Rob Riley. East India Doc Lou Lambert forecast for Jack. East India for Kenny. Hello Neighbour for PJ Westerman. Lee says Mondo Man 33-1. Lee, you watch it on YouTube and Insta. I'm seeing you come up on both. East India Doc nailed on, says Shane Watson. The new line for me, Lee James. Wrong race, mate. The new line goes at Turner's, which is the first day on day number 2. Lou Lambert for Anthony Norton, Lou Lambert for Max Walker and Woodsy and John Jones. Hello Neighbour wins for Liam's Buddy. Palladium for Buzz Travel. East India Doc for Mark Sinclair. And Max Walker has 10s on Lou Lambert. St. Lucy wins. No chance. No chance. For me, it's definitely a 3-horse race. I couldn't have Palladium. Couldn't have Gibbs Island. Don't think Lady Vega Allen either. Hello Neighbour. Backed him at the DRF. Travelled really well, actually. Travelled well, jumped well. It was a slow pace, and he's put a couple lengths in. But I just think the top 2 are different gravy to him. Now, it's a tricky one. And especially you guys on YouTube, because you're always the one that give me the most stick. You'll give me hate for this in the Honest Days punting. But the beauty about anti-post betting is that anyone in my racing club, I remember putting a message in saying, I've just heard that Lou Lambert has worked. I think it was all over John Bon, and he was 10-1. So a lot of the lads are on at 10s on Lou Lambert. Now, I'm on at 10s on Lou Lambert. I think I had 100 quid each way. But I was really impressed with him at Ascot. But I have to see him run again. Like, I have to see him back up and do it. For me, he looks the classier horse. If you were going to give me a horse to own, I would own Lou Lambert every day of the week, because this time next year, Lou Lambert will be short price, a lot short price for East India Doc for a race at Cheltenham. I think Lou Lambert's got by far the most potential, and he does look like a Sergino or a Shishkin, doesn't he? Like, you can see Connections having another proper Grade 1 classy performer here. But for me, from a punting point of view, East India Doc has just got the form in the book. He's 3 from 3 since going hurdling. Each time he looks like he's got better and better and better. He's also had the experience and the benefit of running twice at Cheltenham. He won by 18 lengths in November, 10 lengths on Trials Day. Trials Day really impressed me. He came to the last on the bridle. And he just quick and clear again. Like, who knows how good this horse can be. Obviously, he's got the flat experience as well. Be interesting to see how Stencil does get on earlier in the week. But in terms of if you're going to have a bet right here and right now, I think you have to back East India Dock. So I've got a nice 10-1 slip on Lou Lambert. So, and this is the thing. This is where you each have your opinion and bet how you want. But this is just how I like to bet. So I had 100 quid each way on Lou Lambert at 10s to return like 1,500 quid or something. But I think East India Dock is now the bet. So I've had 350 quid on East India Dock at 9-4. Do you know what I mean? So then you're waiting on like 1,000 or 900 or something. You're guaranteeing yourself profit if it's between the two, which I think it is. But I think if you haven't had a bet and you're looking to have a bet now, I think you have to go on East India Dock. Just that experience at Cheltenham. I'd want to see Lou Lambert go out and do it again. Like, it's tricky because Vianney, who was second or third at Ascot, is out for the season. Mondo Man's pulled his chances away, so you can't get a grip on. You know, if Mondo would have come out and bolted up, you'd have said, "Wow, Lou Lambert's the proper real deal," which he did look. But I just can't back a horse after one run. Stephen Stanley, yes, mate. Kopech the boards. Hello Neighbour runs a big one in that. Justin Collins probably does. I can see him travelling really, really well. I just think East India Dock is a proper quick 2-miler. Really will have that change of gear. Exactly that. AIM 114. However, Stencil runs in the Fred Winter will definitely give you a clue. But I think even if Stencil ran poorly, that wouldn't put me off. Graham Lawton, spot on your summation of the triumph. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Ian, he's your nap. Gibbs Island, shock 'em all. Really. Interesting. We move on to the county hurdle. Now, for those of you that watch the Honest Days punting, first of all, thank you for watching. Second of all, you would probably have loved watching the pain in my face when Cargeese got beat at Ascot last time out. I thought she was a certainty. I remember just before they went off at Ascot, I nearly said, if Cargeese, she's that much of a certainty. If Cargeese gets beat here, I will give away my 5% share in She's Perfect. Thank fuck I didn't say that. I couldn't believe she got beat there. It's a proper wide open county, isn't it? And there's two up there. Again, there's two I will back here. Kopech Demi could run here. Again, wherever he runs, probably goes to the Martin Pike. Wherever he runs, I'll take him on. Whether you read too much into it, but like JP wasn't overly bullish about him. Skelton in the county, whatever he has, yeah, he has a good record. You're on at 4s. If you don't want him to win, Dominic Howard. I just don't get this Kopech Demi. Like, are you just on because of the hype, or like, do you like his French form? Like, for me, I always I research everything. I watch all of the race replays. I want to get a grip of and like put a picture in my head of where I see the horse. I just can't get a hold of him at all. So I've just left him for every race. And if he's well in, like he looks well in, they do like the ratio from kilograms to pounds, and he's well in there, I'll just let him win and fair play. It's like the Stateman rule. You have to have the 5 runs, which he's had in France. He's never raced over here, so you don't know how he's going to get on. Kieran, are you looking forward to the Cheltenham Festival? I hope you have an amazing festival, and I hope you have lots of winners. Thank you, Kieran, mate. I am. I cannot wait. For me, Cheltenham Festival is just the most amazing thing. If you've never been, you have to go. Ethical Diamond for Kev, the Racing Life podcast. Cargeese got to be of appeal now in the county, which leads me on perfectly to my main fancy here, and it is Cargeese or Cargeese or Cargese. Cargeese, I will go with. Very keen and gassy last time out at Ascot. I'm still wounded. I couldn't believe she was beaten that day. But yeah, she was beaten by Take No Chances. She could have reopposed in the mares. I'd have had her to have reversed the form all day long. But when you look at this horse's form, it is top class. There's no horse in here. Steve Bailey, you were sick after Ascot defeat. I was, and I'm still sick, but she's going to bring it back for me here. When you look at this horse's form, especially her form last year. She won the 2 mile Grade 1 novice hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival. She was second in the Triumph to the Arkle winner, Margeborough. And then she was second to Sagino at Aintree. She then won at the Punchestown Festival. Her form last year is bomb-proof. Bomb-proof. And she's had the benefit of being gassy and all that rubbish at Ascot. She'd have come on for the run. I did a preview, I know I keep saying with Ruby, literally an hour before I came on here. He said she's in fantastic form. She looks great. I'm all over Cargie. She's off a mark of 141. Hugh, you had a £900 foot come in. Well done, mate. Turn that into a couple grand and then buy some shares in my mate AJ. But yeah, for me, Cargeese is a massive price. She's 7-1. She's been well supported. I would actually say she's probably one you want to get on now. But I think she's got a cracking chance. She's definitely my main play in here. Absurd, says Toby. Maybe. Obviously won it last year. That was off 138. Runs off 146 here. Don't know. Could easily go and win. Wouldn't be for me. There's a horse who I think could be nicely handicapped. Liam's buddy's got it. McLaury, however you say it. Backed him at the Dublin Racing Festival, and they did it so cheeky at the Dublin Racing Festival. Scootsy, no, she's not declared, mate. In fact, I'm 99% sure Cargeese is not declared for the Mares Hurdle. She comes here. McLaury at the Dublin Racing Festival, they had him like 20 lengths off the pace. He had to virtually pass every horse, but as a result, what did he win by? He won by like less than 2 lengths in the end, I think. It could have been 10 lengths. He's up £16 for that run, but I think he is nicely handicapped, and I would look into it, especially if Kopek de Me goes for the Martin Pipe, because they're both owned by JP McManus. That McLaury is definitely ahead of his mark, and I think they have a big chance here. They would definitely be the two I'll be back in, Cargeese and McLaury in the county. Anthony Newman has said they think Kopek de Me could be £20 to £25 well in. He could be, mate. He could be. I just can't back him. Who do you think Townsend rides? I'd love to see him ride Cargeese, but I think he'll probably be on Absurd, last year's winner. Rode him last year. And I think that's key. Whoever Townsend rides will go off clear favourite for me. Lark in the Morning. He won the Boodles off a mark of 122, but for me that was a real poor Boodles. He runs in for 132 in a much better race. Definitely a plot job. He's a proper plot job horse, but wouldn't be for me. Valgran could be a plot job for the Skeltons, possibly. I don't know. Wouldn't be for me, but it's McLaury or McLaury and Cargeese for me in the county. We move on to the Mares Chase. What do you guys all think about the Mares Chase? For me, it's getting a bit boring. Like, I don't think they should scrap it, but it's a shit race, isn't it? It really is a crap race. The one that I actually liked here was, I think it's called Only by Night by Gavin Cromwell, but she's been declared in the Arkle, which I'm shocked about. I think she'd have had a far better chance here. Dino Blue on the snaff. Rubbish race, but I'm on Dino Blue. Dino Blue. It's boring. Dino Blue just wins this. It's really, and I really wanted to take her on. I went on. I don't know if Josh is still watching the Let's Talk Racing podcast, and I was like, I'm going to take her on. Like, she should have won it last year. She didn't. But when you look at it, like, it's such a rubbish race this year. Only by Night for me was the only danger. It doesn't come here. Bioluminescence is a very good horse. Would have had a good chance. Doesn't run because it's not going to be soft enough. Spindleberry could have had a chance. Not coming. Like, Telepathique is an improving horse for Lucy Wadham. I don't think she's on the class of Dino Blue, though. Like, Dino Blue really should have won this last year. She travelled better than Allegory de Bassi last time out. I got a feeling they've just been preparing her for a massive run here. And what price is she? She's 6 to 5. I think she'll go off. I honestly think she'll go off about 4 to 5, 8 to 11, something like that. It's a shite race. I think Dino Blue just wins. Yeah, Cameron, you had Spindleberry, but a non-runner. Spindleberry doesn't go Monteith. Would agree. JP Mass has so many good chances. If fact you could be profiting for the week. You think, Mark, if Kopek goes off, Kopek to me goes to County Golf 6-4. Bloody hell. Fair play. Telepathique to Frank, your favourite racecourse form. Telepathique was very impressive at my local 100 and track. Back at 20-1, now 5-1. Very good, shrewd. That's the beauty of anti-post, actually. Well done, mate. Fun fact for you, actually used to work at Huntingdon Racecourse. I did the marketing there for about 2 years, about 10 years ago. You think Bride's Hill hoses up? Obviously, reason they're sending only by night to the Arkle. They obviously fancy the other runner. I could have Bride's Hill after got beat last time out. Wouldn't be for me. Johnny Gleason's in. Johnny, nice to have you. Give us some Irish whispers. There's nothing better than Irish whisper. Steve Bailey, Fakenham, yuck. It's my local course. I'm 15 minutes from Fakenham, not for me. We had a little whisper on Bride's Hills. Really? James Evans, what's your thoughts on Wendigo and the Albert Bartlett? We're going to move on to the Albert Bartlett. So this is the 3:20 on the Friday. We're nearly there, boys. The 3:20 at Cheltenham on the Friday. There's a slim chance. Final Demand comes here. If Final Demand comes here, he gags up. But I don't think he will, which is a shame because I'm all over the new line. The Yellow Clay could run here. 4 from 4 this season. Won the Lawlers of Nace. Proper stayer. Be versatile ground-wise. Good collateral for me. Beat Wingman. 11 lengths, who's since been second to Final Demand at the DRF. Round to an RPI of 148. Puts him clear of a lot of these. He'd have a good chance, but I think he probably goes to the Turners. What do you guys think? There's 2 horses I like in here. Instead of going through the rest, I'll just go through those. And a lot of people are mentioning him, so I'm going to agree with you all with Wendigo. Wendigo has form figures of second, first this season. And he was second to the new line in the Challow. He's a tricky horse because when you look at him, he doesn't have the pace for 2 miles. And he looks beat. And he flew home in the Challow to finish second. He looks like the further he goes, the better he will be. He then won really nicely last time out by 7.5 lengths. He looks crying out for a step up in trip. There could be loads and loads of improvement to come. I think he's got a lovely chance. Wendigo at, I'm trying to see what price he is, 14-1. Barry Stewart, you think Final Demand will go here? I think Final Demand should come here. This is the race for him, and just let the new line win the Turners. Wendigo is the first one I like. The second one I like, which I'm not seeing a single other person mention anywhere, is a horse called Jet Blue. Now, it's a French horse. Interesting. He came over for the December meeting and he ran over course and distance. And they've obviously been planning this for a while. He travelled really well, jumped great, and he quick and clear. He won by 6.5 lengths and he ran to an RPI of 141, which puts him up there with some of the best form on offer here. I think he could definitely improve. He hasn't been seen since. They're coming here. They obviously fancy their chances. Jet Blue, for me, has a big chance in the Bartlett, and I think he's going a little bit under the radar. So it's Jet Blue and Wendigo for me in the Bartlett. We're on the Bartlett, Tom. Who's everyone else on? I've had a nod on him, Bash. Stephen, who's that for? Let me know. I've had a nod. I love these. Like the thing about Cheltenham, I love the whispers. I love the nods. Have I missed anything? Did Johnny G give us anything? You're in Wendigo. You're in the syndicate that owns Wendigo. Mate, best of luck. That's fantastic. To have a Cheltenham runner, that's fantastic. Hopefully it's my mate AJ in years to come. You've had the nod. Who's the nod on? Let me know. Was it JetBlue? JetBlue. You've had the nod on JetBlue. Good. I love these nods. Yeah, like I was going to say, I remember back in, who is the horse that won the Stayers Hurdle? Owned by, is it? Who's Brighton's owner? Same colours as an Ergamine. Won the Stayers Hurdle a couple of years ago. Fresh. Yeah, who's Tony Bloom? Who was it? Penn Hill. Yes, JP Taylor. Penny Hill. And I remember hearing like a rumour. Someone, I think this is when I probably still worked at the Jockey Club, maybe. And someone was like, "Oh, Bash, Tony Bloom's called up Cheltenham and said, I don't care how much it costs for a box. Get me a box on Stayers Hurdle Day because my horse is going to win the Stayers Hurdle." And it was Penny Hill at 8-1. We backed him, came right round the outside and won. Like, I love these little nods and whispers you get at the Cheltenham Festival. So it's interesting you've had a nod for JetBlue because I do really like the profile. So yeah, it's JetBlue or Wendigo for me in the Bartlett. And then we move on to the big one, the Gold Cup. Let's all just agree here. Everyone agree here. He's short, but it's going to be I was there, one of those I was there moments, and Galloping de Champs is going to win his 3rd Cheltenham Gold Cup. It should be his 5th win at Cheltenham. You think, what do you win? The Martin Pipe, fell at the last, and 2 Gold Cups. So it should be his 4th Cheltenham Festival win, I think. No, it should be his 5th. I think Galloping de Champs Woodsy should go off 1-3. He should be what is he? 2's on. It's an awful Gold Cup. I can't have Banbridge for the life of me. He won't stay. I know the way you're thinking. Not good enough. Monty Star being beaten by Galloping before. Corbett's Cross has been trained for this, but doesn't look to be a good enough jumper. Get Gentleman's Games mile off it. Jungle Boogie could run into a place, but nowhere near the level of Galloping. Same for the Real Whacker. Same for Ahoy Senor. Royal Pagay won't get his ground. It's a rubbish Gold Cup. Galloping the certainty. Josh May, love that. Too short for a Gold Cup, Tim, but he's beaten these. Like, he will just win this. Can't spell Gold Cup without GDC. I love that. You have Galloping at 9-2 and 4-1. Barry, I'm in a similar situation. I couldn't believe. It's also hindsight. You sound smart now. I couldn't believe. Like, I knew he was going to get beaten the John Durkin. He doesn't win the John Durkin. He needs 3 miles. I couldn't believe the bookies put him out to 9-2. I had the most stupid bet again, which I'll get stick for, and rightly so. I had £100 each way. Why have I backed him each way at 9-2? It was like, shit, he's 9-2. Get on quick, and I panicked. But yeah, I've got him doubled up and everything. Galloping de Champs just wins, and I really hope he does. It will be fantastic, to be there. It'll be like run to get to the front or run to get to the winners' enclosure. Mark Sinclair, it's the worst Gold Cup ever. 100% agree with you on that. It is a shocking Gold Cup, but Galloping de Champs makes history, and we need horses like that to make history. Galloping and Corbett's for the forecast. Maybe I would just put. The thing is, say Galloping 10 lengths clear. You don't want to be looking who's second. Just get on Galloping the good thing. Just shows how good Galloping de Champs is. No one wants to take him on. Very good point, Woodsy. So we're all in agreement here. Galloping de Champs wins. This is the only race. Well, it's not one of the only race I won't have a bet in because I probably won't have a bet in the cross country. But the Hunters Chase, the 440 wouldn't be for me. Like, I'd actually love to see Angels Dawn do it. It's the only win I've ever backed in the Kim Muir and got me out of a big hole on the Thursday 2 years ago. But I will hopefully be having 2 pints of Guinness with a few of you, and we'll just be talking about Galloping de Champs being the best chaser since Corto Star or Denman. Jay Murdoch says, will it go ahead in this race? That's the name of the horse, not will the race go ahead. I won't have anything. The reception Galloping de Champs got at Leopardstown was fantastic, and that's why as a champion. Liam's buddy, that's 100%. I get stick for getting emotional. I honestly had tears in my eyes when he came back in. It was one of those like spine tingling. Like, I just love how everyone loves the horse. Like, for me, racing's all about the horse. Like, you see how much I all love my horses. Like, it's all about the love of the horse and how you can appreciate a good horse. And oh, it was so special. I was stood on a bench filming. I was stood on a bench like, next to like an 80-year-old granny that was stood up there. Unless you stood up there, you couldn't see. It was chaos. It was fantastic. The Allays happened. Oh, let's hope we have that again at Cheltenham. That was absolutely fantastic. Daniel Moore, I'm there all 4 days, bud. So yeah, nothing for me in the 440, and we've made it. We move on to the last race. Holy moly, we've got there. But before I do that, I'm going to do another plug. We've got 50% left in My Mate AJ. If any of you guys want to come on board and be a racehorse owner, please come and get involved. It's such good fun. Like, what other sport could a general racing fan be as involved as what you can? Say you're an avid Spurs fan, the most you can get, unless you've got cakes of money, is a season ticket holder. That's the best. The most you can get in horse racing. You can be at the stables. You can be talking to the jockey, the trainer, in the parade ring. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, if you'd like to get involved, we've got 50% left. I'm doing 1% shares, 600 quid. You can split that over 2 months, and then it's just £40 a month. All goes into a pot. Whatever is left at the end of the year goes back to you. He is going to go in training with Ben Pauling, who's just having the season of his life. And yeah, I'd love. Do you have to be 18 to have a share? I think you're supposed to, but no. I've got a few under 18s, mate. So just DM me. We can always put it in someone else's name. You were standing right behind me at Cheltenham when Doyen Quest won in November. Give me a shout if you see me, Hugh. If any of you guys see me at Cheltenham, give me a shout. But yeah, again, if you guys want to come on board or join the racing club, please just drop me down. We'll go to bashupwhatsracing.com. Let's move on to the final race. We've done it. The Martin Pipe. Tricky race, this. And I would say it's probably one to play on the day. You don't know what's going to come here. I think Woodhoo is going to come here. Kopek de Me, I think, will come here. Impoise Trois could go elsewhere. Manila 6-0 might not come over. It's a real tricky race. And of all the handicaps, this is my least strong fancy. McWaffle, I've just been in club enclosure, mate. But the one that I like here is Tap on the Go. Definitely looks to be coming here. Had 3 big runs before Christmas. Was second to Fleur in the Park on seasonal reappearance. He then stepped up in trip to 2 mile 4 and he beat McLowry. McLowry, the horse that I think has a big chance in the county, beat him by 9 lengths. And then he was second to Old Man Dingle, who's since been 4th at the DRF. So the form is there. And I think since then, they then put him back over 2 miles to watch his mark. And he was third behind James's Gate. And he runs off a mark of 135, which is harsh, but you are getting, what price are you getting? And if I just have, I'll just have one fancy here. I'll back him each way. I think he's like 12 to 1. Tap on the Go. Good day from Australia. Just sat through a cyclone. As you do, Mark. Thanks for joining. Unfortunately, we've just done the last race of the festival. But yeah, Tap on the Go would be the one for me. Look, I know I put that video up saying don't get sucked into the ACCAs, but I think if you're a bookie, Steve Bailey, I'm not sure if you're still watching, if you're a bookie, I think you run scared this year. I honestly think this year could absolutely tonk the bookies. Matt Chick, do you still have your tipping site? I have a racing club. I don't quite like to see it as a tipping site because it's more like a place for people to join and meet and talk with other racing fans. Like for me, why I started the racing club, I had so many people asking me, Bash, if you ever come into Sandown, let me know and I'll go racing with you, because none of my friends are into racing. I get it. It's the same with me. Like none of my friends are really into racing. So if you want to join the racing club, we go racing each month together with a free ticket, but I'll put all my tips and selections in there. But yeah, that's bashwhatsracing.com and it's the racing club. Great preview. Stephen, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I've got a minute and 30 seconds on Instagram before that dies, so I'll cut it all here. Thank you very much for watching. If you see me at Cheltenham, please come and say hello. Woodsy, you're very welcome. It's been nice to speak to a lot of you guys. Probably the first live I've ever done on YouTube, so thanks for getting involved. The New Line wins, Con. The New Line definitely wins. Dylan, thank you, mate. McWaffle, you're more than welcome. Yeah, you're all welcome. DC, Max Walker, Ian, Liam's buddy, thank you very much for watching. I'm glad you guys have all enjoyed it. Matt, thank you, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed the content. Thank you, Kev. Good luck to you as well, bud. Good luck, guys. Let's hope it's the best week of the year. let's hope we back some winners. If you're watching, there'll be an honest day's punting out all evening, every evening, I should say. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. And please, if you want to come on board, my mate AJ, 50% left. There's lots of people want to get involved after Cheltenham. Yeah, let's smash the bookies in. I like that. Let's set the tone right. I think Tuesday's the day to make your money. Instagram, you're about to go off in 30 seconds. But thank you very much for all watching. I need a drink and a sit down. It's actually hard work when you're just talking. Like, if there's a few of you, it's sometimes a little bit easier. But yeah, you're all very welcome, lads. Thanks. You YouTube bunch, I get so much hate on YouTube compared to anywhere else. You all seem very nice. So put a nice thing in the comment instead of the nasty stuff. But all right, Instagram, I'll see you soon. And look out for the on stage punting. That has gone. All right. Right, anything left on YouTube? When's Bish Bosh Bashy running? He actually ran today, Aussie, in a proper hot race. And he was third. He missed the break. Statement each way. Wouldn't be for me. Good luck, Finn. DC, thank you all for watching. 2 hours, not too bad. But yeah, if any of you want to join the racing club or anything like that, I don't think you can message me on YouTube. But my email address is basherwattsracing@gmail.com if you want to get involved. Carl, glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, it's the best week of the year. Let's hope we have lots of winners. And I will see you soon. Come on, the boys.